the chair and co-chair, distinguished delegates from different parts of the world, my colleagues from Africa, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen Tekwete, and for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will take you through what I have observed in terms of wood use in Ghana, especially in the urban centers, and try to look at the implications for the use of wood in 2000 and in the future. The format of my presentation is as follows. Look at introduction, objective, methodology, results, and discussion, conclusion, recommendation, and I'll certainly acknowledge my sponsors, because the greatest ingratitude to a man is greatest injustice that I can do to them is ingratitude. Mr. Chairman, I will re-echo what Dr. Micah indicated during the presentation in the morning, that from whatever angle we are looking at wood, be it from the artistic point of view, be it from science, be it from the industry, we still come to one major conclusion: that wood is good, that wood is money, that wood has been with human beings right from the time of development to date. And wood products have been associated with human beings from different parts of the world over the decades. And wood, as the previous speakers have rightly indicated, is used for firewood, and every food that comes from the kitchen onto the table in rural and urban centers in Ghana and Africa, and most developing countries at large, is cooked with firewood, either in the form of firewood or charcoal. And the FAO will tell you that the number of cubic meters that gets of wood that we use as firewood in developing countries, Ghana inclusive. We also use wood for roofing and ceiling, and that is what the focus of this particular presentation will be on, because we've been looking at it from outside but if you look at interior decoration using wood panels and other things, we realize that there have been some important changes that are occurring in urban centers, and we need to look at that. We also use wood for furniture, and a number of artistic designs have been expressed from China, India, and different parts of the world. And Benin, a colleague from Benin has rightly indicated that. Wood export in Ghana contributes significantly to the economy, and you have about 180, is dwindling though, about 180 million euros being generated from the export of wood annually in Ghana. If you look at the ceiling design that we have around in Ghana, these are some of the pictures that I picked, the existing designs using wood in Ghana. And the one to your left, which is my right, is the design that I have at the Forestry Research Institute of Ghana, where I work. And wood, you will see that when this construction was done, we have a lot of wood in the system. So you could get plywood, and after that, try to pick some other kind of wood panels and join them to just give this very wonderful design. And we also have different types of wood used as ceiling. And we can see these other two designs all made from wood. In recent times, other designs and ceiling materials are gradually replacing the use of wood and wood panels in Ghana. And hence, this study aimed at assessing the existing and potential threats to the use of wood in roofing and ceiling of houses in Ghana in selected urban areas. The study area. The map here shows the classification of urban centers that we have in Ghana. But for the purpose of this particular study, picked one from the Ashanti region, middle. Okay. Yeah, and then the Western region and Greater Accra. These were the three places where this study was conducted. And about 252 housing units were randomly selected in the areas selected. Semi-structured questionnaires were administered and field observations made. This slide shows some of the development, the ceiling material that is gradually replacing wood. The plastic panels are now being used in our urban centers, and sometimes it moves from that to a mixture of concrete, plastic, and some still use plywood. These are other pictures that I captured in Accra while doing this particular work. In Kumasi, I looked at the type of accommodation and related it to the kind of design and then ceiling material, and of the type of accommodation that was looked at, those who are living in their houses form 42%. Student hostels in Kumasi form 41% of that. Rented apartments 14%, and then public property forming us 3%, just 3% of the whole. This chart gives an overview of what the use of ceiling material is like in Ghana. And about 45% of the respondents in Kumasi used plywood, are still using plywood. And if you look at the plastic panels, that forms about 5%. And we have plywood and TAJ and then other materials. But it's not different from the emerging trend that I'm indicating, because I looked also at the number of years that this respondent had lived in that particular place and whether they are willing to replace the existing ceiling material with any other kind of material that is coming in.
No, sir, what is TNG? TNG?
We have Tunnel and Groove. This part.
Yeah, I got
okay, it. This one. Okay. So, about 40% of the respondents had lived in the place for between 2 and 5 years. And those that were more than 10 years were 10% of the respondents. Now, has the ceiling material that you have used in your construction been changed? And we have as high as 86% saying no, since they started living in there. And just less than 5% of the respondents indicated that they have changed it. And the reason they were given is that they are now exposed to the new ones that are when they were building the structures. In those days, it was a plywood that was available, and that was what they know they use as ceiling material in these urban areas. But now that these things are changing, there is a likelihood that the plastic TNJ will replace that one because they are indicating that they are more attractive, they are durable, you don't need to change them when they are in there, when you use them as ceiling materials. They also indicated that the respondent that picked plywood, for instance, they say it's cheap. About 28% indicated that it's cheap and attractive, lasts longer, cheap and attractive, lasts longer, and then attractive. If we take what we have in Accra, again, about 50% of them are still using plywood. But TNJ, a plastic TNJ is also picking up gradually, and just like the scenario that we have for the Kumasi situation, for instance, we are indicating that there we have a number of them who have not changed the ceiling material since they inhabited the place. If they have the opportunity, they are going to replace it with other things like the plastic TNJ because they have seen it being very, very beautiful, attractive, and even less expensive. The emergence of that is actually creating a threat to the use of wood as plywood and then wood panels in construction industry in Ghana. In Takoradi, plywood and then cement, most of the structures that were looked at in Takoradi were story building 3, 4, 5. So you have a mixture of the concrete, and then the last floor we have plywood or the TNG. And you will see from this particular one that plywood and then others, which have indicated 26, were relatively higher than the plywood, plastic TNG, and then the others. We realize that still plywood is being used. And again, the issue about they not having the chance to change it as it exists now. If they have the opportunity, they would change it and then use plastic TNG. It is a major threat to the use of wood as ceiling material in these urban areas. Then I went on to look at the prices of these particular materials for ceiling in Ghana. And on the average, plywood, depending on the size, whether 3 by 4 inches, 1/2 inch, and the rest, we have 10 to 23 US dollars for 1 square meter. And plastic TNJ gives about 29 to 26 per square meter, and then 32. If we look at wood TNJ, 16, whether it's polished or unpolished, and then 12 US dollars. And I'm saying that if we look at the trend, the economic trend, the urbanization trend in Ghana, we realize that private remittance to families in Ghana has been increasing over the years. And for instance, in 2008, in October, we have about 654 million US dollars getting into our system as private remittance, inward transfer from just banks. And then in November, 608, December, 99, and it keeps increasing. The implication of this is that people are becoming wealthier, they have more money, and then in the pace of the information age, where with a click of the buttons, you know, the several alternatives that are available for you to use, and then the design, people are now more and becoming more aware of alternative ceiling materials in our system. And if they are aware, they have the ability to choose as this inward transfer increases in the urban areas, we are likely to see a shift, possibly a very drastic shift, from the use of wood into the use of these other ceiling materials. So the trends that I've highlighted are the use of plastic TNG, the dwindling timber species, and then, very importantly, the low satisfaction in the durability, attractiveness, design of plywood and wood panels among these respondents in the urban areas. Based on this information, saying that wood as a ceiling material is gradually being replaced in some urban centers in Ghana. There is therefore the need to sensitize populace about the benefits of using wood in terms of cooling, its cooling effect, and quite debatable. I've highlighted that carbon storage because of what I heard this morning on this issue, and other emerging things. And there's a need to also improve the design of wood panels and its durability if we really want our people and many other countries and urban centers that have the use of plywood as ceiling materials. I want to say a very big thanks to the organizers, FAO, and all those who supported technically and then financially to attend this, and then the management of my institute, Forestry Research Institute of Ghana, for the technical assistance in making this presentation. Thank you very much.